So we just talked about a movie that had everything in it, was all over the place. It had multiple set locations. We're now going to talk about Lucky McKee's latest movie. Very straightforward. Two characters, maybe a third one location. Old Man. It's about a camper who's wandering in the woods. He comes across this cabin that's inhabited by an old man. From there, the two talk. So, Old Man, I believe all of us have seen Don't Breathe, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Regina, did you see Don't Breathe?
No, I haven't seen Don't Breathe.
Okay, so I think Blake and I are on the same page with Don't Breathe. So not all that great.
No, not a great movie. Not a movie I enjoy. Not to say Mr. Stephen Lang isn't really great in it.
So my question to you then is, so I thought Stephen Lang was the one, and it's probably why the critics and people liked it so much, is his performance.
Yeah.
I think this performance in Old Man totally blows that one out of the water. I'm going to put it out there. This is maybe the best performance I've seen this year. I loved Stephen Lang in this movie.
I couldn't agree more. I actually, man, I forgot it was him. He's very distinct. He's one of those very distinct actors that, like, when you see him, you're like, ah, shit, yeah, Stephen Lang. You know his name, and you're like, he's going to be great. And in this one, I kind of got lost in his character, which was truly just batshit.
It is. And you bring up an interesting thing, because here's what the character did from Old Man. Here's what he did for me. So this is a movie, because you have two people just talking. There's some sort of secret there, and they're kind of trying to ferret it out, but it's really a conversation between two guys. But that's just naturally a suspenseful, tense situation. Stephen Lang was so good in it that it almost, and it's not in a bad way, but it kind of took away from the suspense. Because I was just so caught up in, I just wanted to find out about his character. I wanted to hear what he had to say, and I kind of wanted to see how he messed with the younger guy. That's all that I cared about. Like, and it was tense, and it did have its moments of suspense. But man, Stephen Lang, he like superseded all that. Just an amazing performance.
Yeah, he was fantastic. And what this film does with just atmosphere and tension, and it's carried all out by him. He's executing the whole film. Like, he is just so wonderful in this movie, and he's so creepy and scary, and also like a very empathetic character as well too. I don't know, like I feel like the last movie was too long. I feel like this one was almost too short, because I was enjoying his performance so much.
And there's you mentioned, I mean, he's powerful, and it's engaging to watch him. But and as the movie progresses, it becomes a little more obvious. But there's also like a really pitiful quality to him too. This old guy out in the woods just lost his dog. I mean, it's kind of a sad figure. I feel for him.
Sleeping in his red long johns and looks pretty cold in that little shack. And no, very, very sympathetic. You're just like, man. Well, it leads you to ask all those questions. So what a great setup.
It does. One of the reasons he was so cold is because he had that mud flap on his it was buttoned up, but yeah, that only protects you so much.
Which we were discussing off mic earlier today. We think this would just revolutionize. Let's just institutionalize the butt flap on all garments. Let's just rock it, man.
It would change the world. It would make life so much easier for so many people in so many industries.
Yeah.
Totally change as you mentioned, it would totally change the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
it would be like 24 hours of Le Mans.
Exactly. Like, they have the stages in the Tour de France. This would be like the 7 stages of hell. So this movie, it's risky because the vast majority of it's only 2 characters. Like, you guys think they pulled it off well?
Man, so I think one room movies are so fucking hard to get right. They either are, man, there's like no middle ground. They're either really successful or they are not. And so yeah, the fact that, like, movies are either talkies or they're deweys. And every now and again you get a combination thereof. This is a talkie, and so it's a one-room talkie. So performances are tantamount. Also, I'll give a little props to their Lucky. The direction in it was actually really great. You got this like claustrophobic, but really well used camera in that room. So like it felt confined and it felt small, but it didn't make me feel claustrophobic. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
sometimes like if everything's too tight, it's uncomfortable, and I don't want to sit through that. This did a great job of all that interaction and really good work of like the set. All the set design was awesome for the cabin, and yeah, they did a great job of moving the camera around and doing some interesting things to make all that, since it's just a talkie, that provides some action and some movement that it was super beneficial to the storytelling device.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's interesting that you bring up the claustrophobic feeling of it, because I feel exactly like you do that. And a lot of times in those types of movies, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They want you to feel claustrophobic. They want you to feel tight and confined. This one, it's in a cabin, but it's not a very large cabin. It's like
Mhm.
2 rooms, maybe two.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, 2.5 type of thing. But
Right.
yeah, you get the sense of claustrophobia that's there. But I didn't feel it. But what I really got was that sense of solitude, like the
Mhm.
loneliness. And it wasn't just the old man, it was also the camper who comes in. Like, even though his story is a little bit vague, but he's not living out in the woods or anything. But even him, there's that sense of this poor guy, like there's something going on here. Like he
Mhm.
seems like that he has issues that he's going through. And the way, like you said, like what Lucky McKee did with the directing, the way the camera moved, and then this ties back into the performances. Like, yes, it was claustrophobic, but what I really felt was like lonely and sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer, like in that sense, like because when it's over, it still kind of leaves you feeling that way, I think,
Oh.
just because you've sat through that whole experience of it. And um you mentioned how it's either when they're in one room, it's gonna be a lot of talking, and the dialogue in this film is really excellent. It's great for character building, and it's great for creating tension. The tension just keeps on building and building, and it's you're just like waiting for, you're waiting for it to come in, like, okay, where's this going? And the fact that it's in that one room setting, I think that also heightens the sort of like the buildup of the mystery as it's unraveling.
Yeah, there was like a great bit of like chess or whatever going on between those two
Yes.
characters. Like
Mhm.
it would start to lean one way and you start thinking like, oh well, this guy in this fucking bright yellow jacket's fucked up. Like he's the fuck. And then
Yeah.
like then you go the other direction, you're like, oh shit, this guy in the yellow jacket's, he better get out of there. So it's
Yeah.
like, and it does that through the whole movie
Yeah.
until that last beat. And just what a really cool way to tell that story. And yeah, we're not gonna obviously spoil stuff, but there's a lot of movies that try to do what this movie does and not in any way successful like this one.
Yeah, this one does such a good job. And you what you said is exactly right. Like, where Stephen Lang is at in this movie. He's not all there. Yeah, he is
Right.
very frightening. Not in a boo, you're like that kind of scary, but there's something scary about him. And then you have the Wanderer come in, and then it's kind of like, do I trust him? Is he gonna hurt Stephen Lang? It's like, oh no, he has to get out of it. Don't trust Stephen Lang. Like,
Yeah.
it's a really good job of it. And one of the things that none of us have mentioned in this, but this is actually a pretty funny movie. There's some real,
Yeah.
Yeah, very funny.
yeah. Stephen Lang, he has the majority of the comedy in it, but there's many moments where I was laughing out loud.
I totally agree. Yeah, this movie it had a really great pace and a great clip. So like
Yes.
the when the humor hit, it was like it was welcome and it was kind of a relief. But it's kind of pervasive. It's kind of throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, it does take the edge off, but this is by no means is this a comedy,
Yeah.
but it's consistently has that like an undertone of humor to it. You mentioned the pacing, and like Blake said, we're not going to ruin the ending for anybody, but I thought the pacing in this was really well done. Like and like Regina said, it kind of felt like it was too short because it's just flowing. It's just flowing. I'm into it, and it's a back and forth. I don't know who to believe, who to trust. And then the one fault I find with this movie is that the ending just comes. Like, there's the revelation, and then it just starts hitting you with stuff like, this is what happened. it was pretty cool. I will say that I liked it, and I really, really, really love the last 30 seconds or so. Like, just so well done. I loved it. But the lead up to it, I was just kind of like, it wasn't as carefully paced as the rest of the movie.
That's I would completely agree. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was rushed though. I would say it gets a little confusing. You know,
Yes.
I would say there's a little bit of confusion that happens that because they kind of push it fast like you're talking about. I think that adds to that confusion aspect to it. But I don't think I didn't affect my letter grade of this movie, I would say.
Yeah, mine neither. But when it was happening, it did throw me off. I was like,
Yeah.
what? How did that go? But I mean, they don't drag it out. This isn't a very long movie. Like, it happens, and then you start to find your footing, and then everything leads into this, these final moments of it, which just really, really well done. I love when movies have that type of ending, and I just really liked what they did here. Just
Rascal.
yeah. So Rascal, speaking to that, so I don't want to get too much into it, but a few weeks ago we talked about when I consume you,
Mhm.
and we were saying we were saying like a little too on the nose with when I consume you. I think this is a way of it's skirting that line. You're skirting a line there, but I thought they did a good job of not being like, okay, like, no, this is stupid. I thought it was well done. It was close, very close.
It,
It was well done.
it was close. And without saying, with the risk of saying too much, yeah, I'll just agree.
I kind of really liked sort of like the jarring end to it, sort of like you get this revelation of sorts, but it kind of our characters also sort of jolted in a way, and so it kind of feels very like sort of a natural thing for the movie to do that. I think adding to the mystery of our characters and to that abruptness, sort of, it's the movie itself kind of feels like his space. It's a cabin. The cabin you're roughing it if you're in a true cabin, right? Unless you're what's it called glamping in your cool, super souped up RV or something. But
Your
you are. I mean, he's got his butt flap pajamas and he has a hole, not a toilet, a hole. So like, I mean, it's a very if we didn't know anything else, you could not place this movie in any kind of time. Like,
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah,
and I think that kind of adds to like the tension as well. It's just sort of like it's all sort of like just it's a mystery, all of it.
Yeah, the wardrobe was all I actually noticed that, like, the wardrobe, particularly on the camper, um really unique and different, and yeah, not what I would call modern styling at all. But it wasn't like, hey, that's 1970s garb, it was it was
Yeah.
all kind of erroneous and kind of, just adrift.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. That this could be happening. This could have happened last month. It could have happened 50 years ago. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing to make you think. Which the best stories do that. It's something that you can tell, to your nieces, nephews, and grandkids, and it's something that someone much older than you could have told you. So, yeah, really well done with this story. So, Old Man right now, it's doing the festival run, but it's coming out sometime in October, just in time for Halloween. So, Blake, I'll start with you. Old Man, see or no see?
Old Man, yeah, definitely check Old Man out when you get a chance. I think this is one of the best performances I've seen all year, for sure, and just a really fun bite-sized little flick, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And Regina, Old Man, see or no see?
Definitely see it with another old man, preferably. But if you don't have an old man handy, just you can watch it with a young man or woman.
Yeah, this is for me too. It's an easy watch. Like, perfect for Halloween, but really good for any time of the year. And the performance is awesome.